The Roman Republic was a time of constant conflict and social change for the Roman people. It was during this time that their fundamental social structures, religion, and culture were developed. According to legend, Romulus, after founding the city of Rome, brought in Etruscan priests in order to practice the art of geodesy and split the Palatine Hill into 4 different quarters. In order to understand the aesthetics of the Roman Republic, we must first understand the sometimes very bizarre religious and artistic canons of the Etruscan people, or what little remains for us to understand of what they believed. After Etruscan families had been banished from the Roman kingdom, a period of complex conflict between the Romans and the Etruscans began. This was known as the Roman-Etruscan Wars, and in the end, the Romans would be victorious. This would lead to the subsuming of the Etruscan culture into the Roman culture, and also their religious practices being part of the Roman religion. Details of the Etruscan religion were given in a now-lost work called the Etrusca Disciplina, or the Etruscan Discipline. This was a set of books that contained all the religious beliefs and also religious rituals of the Etruscan people. The highest power in the Etruscan religion was known as the Fortuna, or fortune, and this power had the ability to direct the fate of anybody in the world. Below the Fortuna were the Etruscan gods, of which there were many, followed by heroes, and then finally the mortal beings that habitate our earth. Time and space in the Etruscan religion were not distinct concepts, and the ability to divide time and space into different regions was thought to be a process of divination to be carried out by the Etruscan priests. The regions that the Etruscans divided time into were called saecula. In the Etruscan religion, there were thought to be 8 to 10 saecula. Once finished, the Etruscan civilization would die. Each saecula began with the birth of a new generation. And when each of those people who were born at the beginning of the saecula died, that saecula would end. The first 4 saecula were identified using metals. These metals came from the poetry of Hesiod. The first saecula was called the Golden Age, the second the Silver Age, the third the Copper Age, and the fourth the Iron Age. Coincidentally, the Etruscan civilization was defeated by the Roman civilization in about the same amount of saecula as they predicted would last. In regards to the division of space in Etruscan religion, looking down from the summit of Mount Tinea, the Fortuna had decided to divide space into 4 separate regions. The northwest region, referred to as the Anti-Tinea, was the worst, the most evil region. The northeast, also known as the Silver region, was the absolute best region to occupy. The southeast, or the copper or copper-bronze region, was the next most favorable after the northeast silver region. And the southwest, or the black iron region, was more favorable than the northwest, but not quite as favorable as the southeast. The division of time and space within the Etruscan religion is honestly pretty abstract and difficult to understand. However, it was very important for the everyday ritual practice in the Etruscan civilization. One common example comes from the ritual sacrifice of animals. Occasionally, the liver of the animal would be removed and examined by a high priest, also known as a haruspex, who would interpret the liver and determine the fortuna of the civilization. An important example of this ritual practice exists in what is known as the bronze liver of Piacenza. It is a reference that would have been used by the Haruspecs to interpret the Fortuna. This liver is divided into many distinct regions of space. Each of these spaces corresponds to a different concept within the Etruscan religion. These livers were not only used by the Etruscan civilization, but also by the Greeks, the Babylonians, and other Mediterranean and Near East civilizations. However, they were particularly important in the Etruscan religion due to their notions of space and time and their central importance in the interpretation of the Fortuna. Due to the emphasis of individual fate and fortune in the Etruscan religion, when the Etruscans made portraits of citizens, they would often represent individual characteristics much more than their Greek counterparts, and this had a very great influence on the Romans as well. During the Roman Republic, if a portrait was being made of an important citizen, and that citizen had some type of individual characteristic that showed a dedication to the state, such as a battle wound from an important battle, or a show of great age to show a long-term dedication to the Republic, this would oftentimes be represented in the portrait. This is in contrast to similar portraits from the Greek world, which were often typecast images that don't show any individual characteristics. This focus on individual characteristics shows a direct influence from the Etruscans, who had a similar artistic canon and liked to show those individual characteristics in their death portraits. Thank you for watching this video. In the next video, we will be examining the influences of Greek culture on the Roman Republic and how it differs greatly from the influences of Etruscan culture. Stay tuned for the next video.